Hello everyone, welcome back to another video in the React.js beginner tutorial series. In this video, we are going to discuss about what is conditional rendering. If you are landing on this video series for the first time, please do consider that this is the beginner series where we are speaking everything from the scratch, that too specifically focusing on React.js. If you are actually the beginner who wanted to understand and learn the React.js from absolute scratch, then obviously this series is for you. If this is the first time you're watching the video, then I would highly recommend you guys to go to the playlist and start from the beginning so that you will be having a very good understanding of the basics of React. Keep in mind, of course, knowing React.js is actually kind of a recommended. If you are good with if you are good with JavaScript, please do start with the first video. If you are already watching the series, then yeah, let's get started with the conditional rendering in this video. What is mean by conditional rendering? So conditional rendering in the sense, based on few condition, you will be rendering a part of the component. If that condition fails, you will not going to render the part of the component. That's what we call it as conditional rendering. So to demonstrate conditional rendering, let me take an example for logged in user. So if user logged in, I'll be showcasing dashboard menu in the menu item list. If that's not logged in that case, I'm not going to show the dashboard option. So likewise, we can start with simple example and then we'll proceed further with the other stuff. So let's get started with the coding part. So if you look at this app.js file, you can see I have only one conditional rendering development and the application is already running. Let me zoom it up a bit. So now this is fine. So let's start with the conditional rendering. So what we are going to do for sake of example for the conditional rendering is, first of all, I will just create one state variable and not going to actually implement the state functionality, just to the variable. And based on the value of the variable, I'm just going to change the way that the variable the component going to render. So first what I would like to do is, let me start with use state declaration. So let's have a state here. So constant my variable collection. So first of all, I'm going to have a variable. I just call it as value. Okay, so because just to the value, right? And then set value. And this value going to return from state. And what is going to be the default value? That's true. Okay, don't get too much logical understanding of the implementation. Just try to understand what I'm trying to explain. Okay, just trying to explain how conditional rendering works. That's all. Okay, nothing apart from that. Once this example is done, then we can have some kind of button and try to see how it actually works and those stuff. Okay, as of now, this is fine. Okay, I'm having a state and the state default value is true. If state value is true, keep in mind, if state value is true. Okay, there are many different ways of implementing this. If value, okay, if it is true, in that case, I'm going to return another division. Okay, this is again a kind of another component I'm about to return. What is this is the value is true. Okay, so let me go on to the screen. Now you can see, okay, the value is true. The conditional rendering part isn't rendering at all. Why? Because the value for this value variable, state variable, is true. That is the reason. Okay, if the value is false, in that case, obviously this condition doesn't going to satisfy. In that case, this will not going to render. Let me change the condition to false, saving it, and this case I would be getting conditional rendering. This is an example of implementing conditional rendering. This is one way of doing so. We do have another way. Now what we can do is, to demonstrate conditional rendering, let me create one more component, and that component I will be passing some value from app.js to the child component. So in that child component, based on the props, it will try to render the data appropriately. Let's see how does it work. Let me remove everything from here. Okay, we are going to start everything from absolute scratch. just having a app.js. So let's have a division here. We know that it would always going to return some kind of HTML template. That's why we call it as a component. Let me create some button. So let's have two different button. Okay, I want two different button. This button is login and this button is log out. That's it, nothing specific, just the easiest way of explaining the conditional rendering. So you can see that why I'm not getting, okay, login button, logout button, nothing fancy, nothing extraordinary, just the button. And I'll be having on click event. Of course we do have some kind of functionality, so here as well I'm having on click, because that's a button. So I have on click, right? So whenever user clicked on login button, I wanted to update the state value. I'm going to create user logged in status, state constant is logged in. Okay, that's a variable. And then set is logged in. And what would be the default value? Use state of false, because by default the user is not logged in. So I want the user supposed to be as logged out person. So now it is fine. Whenever user click on login button, I want to set is logged in to true. That's it. And the reverse is going to be the logged out. Okay, let me have an example. Okay, here I supposed to write something like this and I will be passing false. Okay, this we already know how this is working. Now this part is completed, and after this division, okay, I wanted to pass something more data. Let's say example, I'm just thinking, do I need to create one more component, or is it fine if I just to show something here? I think I can have something here itself. So let's have a main. Within this main, what I'm going to do is I will be populating some part, okay, based on the value. So what could be the value? Is logged, okay, is logged in. Okay, if user is logged in that case I wanted to render division, okay, welcome user. If suppose the user is not logged in that case I'll be doing the reverse of whatever it does. Okay, just the single division element, so I think it doesn't going to do much. Let's have a division. Let's have this division. And this is not a JavaScript expression, so let's have this here. Please log in. This is what I wanted to do as a simple example. So let's get on to the screen. You can see I'm having please login. By default it is please login, because default value for the state is false. If it is false, we just show please login. I'm clicking on login. You can see welcome user. Again login, welcome user doesn't going to change, because the same state, same value, that only going to update, nothing apart from that. If I click on logout, you can see please again. Now we know we are actually changing the value, the component that going to render based on the value that we have in the state. That is called as conditional rendering. If you wanted to have same kind of behavior in the next component or the child component, in that case you just have to pass is logged in value as a property. How to do so? Let's do. Let me create one more component called child.js, and this is again going to be a component. Why take this much time? Yeah, I'm having a component constant child. This is going to be the functional component. So return whatever the main, I'm having it over there, whatever the main. Okay, copy, put it here. Returning this is logged in is a parameter. That's a props that we get from the parent component. Okay, that's it. And I'm just responding it to the export default child. So now I can import this child in the app.js component. Where it is here, I need to populate the component. So what is the name? Child component. Okay, and this child component supposed to get imported child, right? And this child accept a parameter. You can have different name, shouldn't be an issue. That's up to you. I'm just keeping the same name as it is. Logged in equal to again the logged in. This is how you need to do so. In this case, you can see I'm having please log in, and if I click on login button, welcome user, logout button, please log in. So this way you can do the conditional rendering. Got it? I hope this is clear for explaining conditional rendering. Suppose if you are having any questions, any clarification, you can just put it in the comment box. I'll be responding it as soon as possible. Let me quickly reiterate what we have discussed in this video. Conditional rendering, nothing but based on a condition we are going to render a part of the component. So if the condition satisfies, we'll be populating something. If the condition doesn't satisfy, we'll populate some other component content. That's all, nothing apart from that. And that's what we have achieved with the help of state. This can be achieved between the components as well, and that example also have covered it here. If you have any questions, any clarification, just put it in the chat box. I'll be answering them as soon as possible. Hope this is clear. Let's catch up on the next video. Till then, bye. Take care. And one more thing, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do consider subscribe to our channel to get more insights about React and any other technology stacks, things that we are discussing in the YouTube. Okay, till then, bye. Thank you. Take care.